Hello there and welcome back to my channel, or if this is the first video of mine you are seeing, then welcome. I went through my makeup collection and I pulled all drugstore products here that I feel like I've kind of neglected, that I haven't used them in a while, or if maybe they have been used but not as much as some of my other products, so I just feel like I've neglected these. Now there are maybe one or two categories that I don't really have that many in that particular category, so there's nothing that really goes neglected. But I pulled enough here for a full face of drugstore products, and we're just going to put these back to the test. We're going to see if some of them I still like them or what my thoughts are on them now. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing is definitely not a neglected product because I use this consistently, but I only have two in my collection, and this is the Milani eyeshadow primer. This is the only drugstore one I have. Oh, okay. That come flying out of there. So let's just tap a little bit of that on both sides, and then I'm going to take my blending brush and blend the rest of that out. Once I finish this one, I am wanting to pick up the matte eyeshadow primer from Ulta because a lot of you have recommended that one, and then I see a lot about that one like from other creators and from comment sections on other creators' videos too. Like that one gets brought up a lot, so I do plan on picking that one up, but I want to finish this one from Milani first. For my face primer, I kind of rotate my primers frequently in my everyday makeup drawer, but this is one that I feel like I haven't used in a while. This is the e.l.f. Stay Cool Primer Stick, and it's supposed to have like a cooling effect to it. Now, it does work a lot better if you've placed it into like the fridge, or freezer maybe, but I forgot to do that and it just looks like that right there. I forgot to place it into the fridge this morning, so I don't know how. Well, it still feels cooling, so I didn't know exactly how it would feel. So we're just going to place that mostly in the T-zone area. And then I'm just going to pat that in. I don't really know if this does anything, really, other than kind of just feel nice, especially in the morning, which I'm filming this really early in the morning. So I guess it just feels refreshing, but I don't know if it actually does anything for your makeup. And for my lip prep, I have this right here from Milani. This is one of their Fruit Fetish lip oils, and this one is in the shade Luminoso, and I haven't used this in a while, but I know a lot of people really love these. It smells good. It smells like fruit. So I'm just gonna put that on for just some lip prep. It does feel really nice on the lips. I just haven't used this one in a long time. For eyeshadow, I have an old one here, but I know this one used to be really well loved a long time ago. Probably people don't really talk about it much now because you can't get it anymore. This is the Wet n Wild Comfort Zone eyeshadow palette, and I feel like a lot of people loved this. I want to do a really pretty green look today, so I thought that this would be the perfect palette, and I have not used this palette in, I hate to say it, but it's probably been more than a year. It's had to been. I can't tell you the last time I've used it. So we're going to give this one a good shot. Now there looks like there's some shimmer in this first shade, but I'm mostly going to kind of place this down as a setter shade. So I'm going to go in to this shade right here on a blending brush from e.l.f. Yeah, I think there's some shimmer in this, but I mostly want it for that tone, because it's basically like my skin tone. And we're going to press that all over the lid and up into the crease, all the way up to the brow bone. Yeah, it definitely has some shimmer to it. Still pretty. Alright, I picked up a little bit more and I'm really pressing that into like the crease area. Just want to make sure everything is nice and set for when I go into my first matte shade. Nothing feels too like tacky. And we're going to do the same thing on the other eye. Honestly, if you want to do like, if you were like my skin tone and you wanted to do a nude eyeshadow look, this would be a perfect shade for that. Then you'd have like your skin tone shade and then a little bit of sparkle mixed in. On a Sigma E24, I'm going into the shade right here. And we're going to start running that into the crease. I didn't pick up too much on the brush. I can always go back in and build it up, but I'd rather start off with a small amount and then build it up. Yeah, we definitely need to build that up a little bit more. Do any of you still have this palette? I just wonder if like it's still like a favorite for many people. I know you can't purchase it anymore, which it's really unfortunate because it is a pretty color story. And I'm going to go back over it with that first blending brush that I had. Any eyeshadow, of course, that gets out here, I will be cleaning up with some concealer and corrector. Okay, same thing. Place this into my crease over here. I picked up a lot more this time. And then I wiped some of that brush off on my little silicone mat. We're going to kind of go around the edges of that. I'm going to do this before I go into with my blending brush again. So I'm going to switch to this brush now and really blend this out even further. Okay, and then I'm going to go into this shade right here. I'm going to try to take that shade a little bit on my finger because it's kind of like a, well, it's kind of like a shimmer shade, I guess. And you can see just how pigmented that is. And I'm going to place that right out here on this outer half of my lid. Boy, that's a deep, rich shade. It's beautiful. Okay, then we're going to go back to that Sigma E24. Kind of go around the edges here of this green. Yeah, that's a very rich shade. You definitely don't need a lot of that. Okay, and then I'm going to go into this shade right here. This shade I'm going to place right here in the center. Honestly, you know what? I can pick that shade up with a brush. So now that I'm looking at that, so yeah, we're going to go into an E57 from Sigma, and I'm going to pick that up with a brush. Because that looks more like a matte. Or maybe like a satin, and then we're going to place that right here in this very center, meeting up with that deeper shade. Okay, same thing over here. This is a beautiful green shade. Now I'm going to wipe that brush off on my silicone mat because there's one more shade in the palette that I want to go in with, and that is this shade right here. And that shade is going to go on this innermost corner. Okay, for corrector, I don't have a neglected corrector from the drugstore, so I'm just going to be using the one that's in my everyday makeup drawer right now, the NYX Pro Fix stick in the shade Fair. Just gonna apply that out here too to clean up any excess from that eyeshadow. Okay, a concealer that I definitely don't use, I feel like enough, is from e.l.f. This is the Hydrating Camo Concealer, and this one is in the shade Fair and Warm. Honestly, sometimes I like this concealer and sometimes I don't. I feel like it's just a little bit too, oh, that might have been too much, too heavy. It's one that you have to be really careful with, and I don't really like full coverage concealers. Not like this that just end up looking so heavy on the under eyes. I feel like every time I wear this, it just makes me look crinkly. So I'm going to first blend it kind of out with a brush, and we're going to blend it out here too, because there's just, see, even that little dot. I don't know. I want to really love it because I don't think it's bad, but I think it just kind of depends on your preference. Just kind of blend it out with this, and then I'll go back in and blend it. Then on a Sigma E57, I'm going to go back in with this shade right here, and I'm going to run that across my lower lash line. And then I'm going to go back to this shade right here, same brush, and we're going to pop that right in here on this inner corner. Just for that little pop of brightness. I only have one drugstore mascara, and that is the e.l.f. Lash and Roll Mascara in the deep brown shade, so I'm just going to apply that right quick off camera, and I will be right back. For foundation, I have this one from CoverGirl. This is the Clean Invisible Foundation. Now this one is in the shade Fair Porcelain. I used to complain that this shade was a little bit too light for me, and it says that it is a cool neutral undertone. I don't have a cool undertone, so I don't know how this might go, but I'm not wearing any tinted sunscreen on my neck like I normally do. So maybe this will work out better, this shade. So I'm going to, of course, put it on the back of my hand. Yeah, that looks kind of pink. Don't know how this is going to work. A lot kind of come out. So I'm going to see if I can kind of shear it out on the back of my hand like I always do with every foundation. Like that. You know what, I might have been complaining before about this shade, but it might have been because I was wearing that tinted sunscreen, so now it might be a perfect match. Don't you just love when you whine about something and then you get humbled? This is the Love is the Foundation brush from IT Cosmetics. I have fallen in love with this brush so much. Honestly, a part of me now wants to like go on places like Mercari and see if I can find the other ones that they've released in the past, like brand new, and buy them. Because I love this brush so much. And it was sad because I had it in a makeup bag and I forgot about it, but it's really good. You know what? Yeah, I think the foundation is actually matches me pretty good. Because I think that's what kind of kept me from wearing it, is I said, well, it's just a little too light. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Well, it was probably when I had the tinted sunscreen on my neck, but when I don't do that, my neck, I feel like, is lighter than my body. So I always wore a tinted sunscreen on my neck to kind of make a match, but I don't know. I just kind of stopped doing that and just applied my regular sunscreen. And it's not tinted, so I figured I'd just match my face to my pale neck. The undertone's a little off. I don't know how to look on camera. In person, it's a little bit too pink. Or not pink, but you can tell that there is some pinkness in it. It's not the worst thing, though, and once I put on bronzer and stuff, but that's it. The actual shade itself is fine, but just in person, it's just a little bit, you can tell that it's a little bit too cool tone for me. I don't know if they have like a fair, warm kind of undertone. That would probably be my perfect match. Okay, let me get close to my mirror and see how this is looking. Yeah, it looks really good. I haven't worn this one in a while. Of course, I know sometimes when foundations aren't like the perfect match, or what we think is not a perfect match, we tend to not reach for them, or at least I don't. I know I've heard some people say they're the same way. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and set my face because all of the face products I picked out were all powder. And I have this one right here from Essence. This is the Brighten Up Banana Powder. Now mine is broken. This has come off. I do have pan in this. I always felt like this was such an amazing powder. And don't let the banana powder part fool you. It's really not that yellow. I know some people kind of avoid banana powders because they think they're too yellow. This one's not. This one to me is like a translucent with the slightest bit of yellow. Oh, this is a Flawless face brush from e.l.f., by the way. But even if it does have a little bit of yellow in it, I kind of need that today. But this is a good powder. And I have pan in it, and I absolutely would repurchase it. It's just a good, solid powder. Yeah, the packaging's, cheap. But I mean, hey, the powder itself is like, what, $3 maybe, 4? I'd say 3 to 5. I know they might have had to go up some with prices. But it's a really lovely powder. If you put that formula in a really nice compact, you would probably think it was high end, or at least I do, because I think it just looks really pretty on the skin. For bronzer, I have this one also from Essence. Actually, I have 2 blushes picked out too, and one of them is from Essence as well. This is the Sun Club Matte Bronzing Powder in the shade Natural. This is a huge bronzer, and yeah, it still smells like coconut. But I always liked it. I'm just going to take it on that same brush. And then I'm going to pick up a bunch on the brush and then tap it into the cap. Then we're gonna place it up here. I don't know if this is still available. I'm not sure if you can still purchase this or not. I think you can. But whatever I can find, I will of course link for you below. I know some of these products are no longer available. Like I know that the Wet n Wild eyeshadow palette's no longer available, which I don't know why they would do that. I think they should bring it back. Because that palette's pretty. I love this eye look, that green. Of course, I really love to see green eyeshadow on really dark eyes. I think there's just something about it that I think is just so pretty. Now for blush, I picked 2 here. One, because I went in with that lip oil, I did find the Milani Baked Blush in the shade Luminoso. I haven't worn this one in a while, and I thought that kind of peachy tone would be really pretty with the green eyes. But then I also have this one from Essence. Now this I know has been discontinued. This is their blush lighter in the shade Cassis Sunburst, and you can see it has like this really beautiful ombre kind of thing. Let me swatch it for you. And that's what that looks like. Let's swatch the Luminoso next to that, and let's just see here. And there is Luminoso. Honestly, they're both beautiful. Wow. Okay, you know what? Let's go with the Luminoso. You can still buy this one, of course. So let's tap. And then, of course, I'm going to tap this into the cap because these are pigmented, or they used to be. It's been a while since I've worn them. I feel like this one definitely has that warmth that I feel like would be really pretty with that green. And yeah, it is. It's really pretty. Ooh. So stunning. Don't you just love blush? And I'm just going to go across the nose. Why not? Why not? Let's just do that. Just a little. So glowy. I haven't worn this blush in so long, and look how pretty it is. Like, come on. Okay, I don't have any neglected brow products, so the only thing I have here is the NYX Lift and Snatch Brow Tint Pen, and this one is in Espresso. And then, of course, this is in my everyday makeup drawer, the CoverGirl Clean Fresh Brow Enhancer Gel. So I'm just going to do this right quick off camera, and I'll be right back. Seriously, I need to wear that NYX Brow Tint Pen more often. I feel like it does an amazing job. So for the lips, the only lip liner that I feel like I haven't used in a while from the drugstore is from LA Girl. This is their Perfect Precision lip liner in the shade Sugar and Spice. And that's what that looks like right there. And then the other product I have here to go on top is from Milani. Now this is, I think some of their, I don't know if this is part of the Lip Fetish line or not, but these are the ones that are more of like lip balms, like tinted lip balms. They're not the matte ones. And that looks like that right there. I thought those would look really pretty together and with the blush. And this one is in the shade Lustful. And this is one of the wooden lip pencils. So of course I'm going to line my lips. And then I'm going to fill in the top and blot it down. Like that. This is a really pretty shade. And then we're going to place this Milani. This is the shade Lustful again. Place this over the top. Oh, that's pretty and really comfortable on the lips. Really bright. That's probably a lot brighter than what I've been going for. Okay, so here is this full face of these drugstore products that I feel like I have neglected. Well, for some categories, I know that some of the things I only had like one or two options anyway, but see, this just goes to show that there's already some really beautiful makeup already in your collection, and this eyeshadow palette is still just as pretty. It performs just as beautifully as it did when I first purchased it years ago. And it's sad that they don't make it anymore. I mean, a lot of this drugstore makeup is really pretty. Like, I mean, and I can see why Luminoso, that baked blush, has always been like a classic because it's so stunning with that glow. But I do hope that you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, I hope you will please consider leaving a like, a comment, or subscribing if you haven't already. Make sure you hit the bell icon so you are alerted to all my future uploads. All of these products will be listed and linked for you below. They are affiliate links, so if you click through and purchase, I do earn a small commission, and if you choose to do so, thank you so much for supporting me and my channel, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!